between predator and prey is the driving force of evolution. Plants have also evolved and diversified in order to minimize the damages inflicted by pathogens and insects. To compensate for their sedentary lifestyle, plants are in a constant process of increasing their performance and fitness appropriate for their environment. However, their development of cost-effective strategies to defend against specific insects and pathogens have also imposed selective pressure on their opponents. This selective pressure triggered pathogens and insects to develop counter-strategies against plant defense, resulting in an evolutionary arms race. Blue-green algae are said to be the ancestors of plants. A long time ago, these algae lived in aquatic environments before venturing into terrestrial habitats. Plants then developed structures such as cuticle, vascular tissues, and stomata, which help them adapt life on land where sunlight is profuse but water is scarce. Quite surprisingly, plants have senses analogous to those of humans. Although the mechanisms do not work exactly the same as humans, plants can also see, feel, smell, and taste despite being sedentary. Plants use their sense of sight when determining whether they are on a light or dark area through the actions of phytochromes, phototrophins, and cryptochromes. These receptors help the plant respond to the color, intensity, and direction of light. When plants are exposed to different environments, the differential use of these receptors causes developmental plasticity. Plants from the same species will likely exhibit different sizes and number of leaves when exposed to varying light conditions. A decrease in light availability produces plants with a limited number of leaves, but the size of each individual leaf will increase to maximize the surface area for light capture. In contrast to this, plants exposed to better light conditions will yield an increase in the number of leaves, but with a reduced size. Plants can also smell fragrances from other plants, whether it is of the same or different species, as well as gaseous compounds produced from microorganisms that colonize roots in the soil. This is in response to different interactions in their environments. By converting a signal into a physiological response, plants can detect the volatile chemicals in the air.
When other parts of the plant detect these signals, they ramp up production of defensive compounds. And for some species, like tomatoes, this early warning system also alerts their neighbors.
In another example, dodder, a kind of vine, grows towards the direction of the tomato plant. This phenomena occurs because the tomato plant has three chemical signals that attract dodders. Hence, plants can make other distinctions.
It probes downward until it finds the base of the stem, which it sinks its teeth into. It wraps itself around the plant and sucks out its vital juices. And strangely enough, Cuscuta can smell whether its potential victims are healthy or not.
Furthermore, the ability of plants to taste is almost the same as humans. Like us, plants have this picky personality where it looks for specific minerals or nutrients in the soil, and if useful, or in our language, delicious, it absorbs it. Plants display allocational plasticity, where it adaptively enhances access to a specific resource in short supply. If plants are very much in need of water, it allocates more tissues to the roots, effectively maximizing the absorptive surface area of roots to apply more water and mineral nutrients, making the plants tolerant in dry environments. Plants are also able to adhere to other plants, poles, walls, or other obstructing objects through their tendrils. Plants adjust to the force of gravity, wind, or in the case of the macahiya plant, touch. Plants are also able to sense the temperature of their surroundings and consequently develop strategies to cope with it. For instance, camp plants like cactus and pineapple form sulfur acids in a temporal manner. When the sun is at its peak, their stomata close to prevent water from reaching the plants, and open during nighttime to permit the entry of carbon dioxide and initiate the necessary processes. With these senses displayed by plants, although sessile, they can learn to react more effectively to various challenges and to habituate to repetitive signals in order to adapt to simultaneous changes. They have developed a memory of defending themselves against pathogens and predators, which can either be constitutive or induced. Plants do not only have their senses, but also have their own stressors. These organisms, when subjected to stress, respond by exhibiting different coping mechanisms. A plant may be exposed to different abiotic stresses, including extreme temperatures, inundation, drought, and exposure to harmful radiation and toxic chemicals. Furthermore, plants are also susceptible to herbivory, pathogenic attacks, and other biotic factors. The response of plants to these stresses is a determining factor whether a plant can survive or not. One example of a behavioral response of plants in cold and sub-zero temperatures is known as cold hardening, in which a plant undergoes physiological changes to avoid or minimize frost injury or tissue damage. In different conditions such as reduced light availability, some plants, such as Polygonum periscaria, respond by maximizing the surface area of leaves, thereby resulting to efficient photon capture. Some species of plants express their adaptive plasticity in times of limited resource availability by producing smaller and fewer offspring. In contrast to this, other plants respond by enhancing and provisioning the size and quality of seeds the plants produce. It is truly impressive how the sedentary organisms can also be strategic masters of their own. Plants are not only disturbed by environmental or abiotic factors, as they are also susceptible to herbivory and pathogenic attacks. But don't underestimate plants, for they still have innumerable tricks under their sleeves. Over time, plants evolved to utilize phytohormones in a conservative manner to regulate the production of various toxic compounds for defense. For example, the tomato plant responds to herbivores by producing polyphenol oxidase and proteinator inhibitor, while it responds to phloem feeders like aphids by producing peroxidase. Hormones such as jasmonic acid, salicylic acid, and ethylene regulate the induction of plant defenses. These hormones are involved in defense against biotic stresses, whereas acclimation against a biotic stress is mediated mostly by abscisic acid. Both biotic and abiotic stresses occur simultaneously in plants, and hence, these organisms should be flexible enough to respond appropriately. Each species of plant is specifically adapted to effectively deal with the diversity of extant stresses in the environment.